The Attorney General's Department says it is expanding the scope of its investigations into the SSNIT OBS scandal. Minister of Justice and Attorney General Gloria Kufu has been speaking today about the probe after management of SSNIT announced they had received communication from IOCO that 3 former top officials and a vendor had been charged with causing financial loss to the state. We'll hear from the company secretary and the Attorney General and also get some insight into the working of IOCO from a former staff. Right now, though, let's take you to SSNIT and take a closer look at the OBS system under discussion.
Same day, on the same day, employer came. Okay, employer came, wanted to know his penalty indebtedness. Then it was printed for the employer. Then some few minutes later, the same advice was printed again. And from these 2 advice, that was printed within an interval of less than 3 minutes.
No, it's a minute.
Even minute. You see different penalties recorded on the payment advice. One is saying that the penalty is 523.60. The other is saying the penalty is 441.86. However, the actual contribution remains the same. So once the actual contribution remains the same, we expect that the penalty should remain the same.
Okay.
On the same day.
Can we see that? Just give me a second. I'm not that penalty. That's good. So what are we doing now? No, let him explain. So what are we doing now?
We are generating a payment advice.
What's a payment advice?
It's an advice showing the total indebtedness of an employer.
Okay, that is if the employer has not paid some contributions.
Yes.
And if he owes some penalties as well.
That is it. So the payment advice will tell you the various month. You see, it will indicate the various month that payment has not been made. It will also indicate the number of workers, the labor force, and the amount per each month. Okay. So when you sum everything together, that is the payment advice.
Okay, so let's see that work here.
So that is the payment advice we are generating.
No, go back. Thank you. Do it again. Thank you. So right now, what have we done here?
There is the first is the year number for the employer.
Yes.
So you have the year number for the employer. Then you have the tier, whether it is tier 1 or tier 2. Then this one is a period. So I can generate payment advice from January to September.
Okay, so I can 2017-01
to
January 2017
to September 2009. Yeah,
that's September. Okay. So now we are loading this payment advice.
Yes.
So what have we? You need to explain it before you do it. So what have we done now?
It is a process of loading. So where we've got into now, then we have to select. You see, we've keyed in a period, but the employer may say that, okay, I cannot pay for all this period. I want to pay for only 2 months out of this. Then you select the 2 months for the employer to pay.
Okay, so
but so here you can select all.
So this is all the 9 months.
All the 9 months.
So this is month January, February, March, and it goes down to September.
That is it.
And the number of workers you were mentioning are?
This is the number of workers.
So 4 workers.
And these are the corresponding amount.
Okay. So what are we doing now?
So when you go to OK, it means that you've confirmed.
You've confirmed?
Yes. And thereafter, then you print for the employer.
Okay. Okay, so this is what will be printed out?
Yes, for the employer to go and pay.
Right.
So it comes with the indebtedness.
Wait, before you print, that means that if there is a mistake with the second one, it will generate a mistake here before we even print.
If there's mistake.
What you're saying is that if we generate it twice, it will give us two different figures.
It is not. What we are not saying that when we generate it twice, it should give you two different figures. It is not supposed to give you two different figures.
That's what this system does.
Sometimes.
Okay.
Sometimes. Okay. Sometimes.
Right. Let's go.
You see, sometimes.
Let's go.
So, within the same day, the penalty is supposed to be the same.
The same. So we've just printed the penalty for company A here, and I can see the. Okay. So the figure here. Which number are we looking for? We want the total, right?
Yeah.
This is the table we saw in the software, right?
Yeah. So
that is a penalty figure. So
we are looking at the penalty figure. This is the penalty figure.
That's 31,023.
So we are saying that within the same day, this figure is not supposed to change when we print again. Assuming the employer just walked down and he misplaced the payment advice, comes to us that we should print another payment advice for him. The figure remains the same. But sometimes we get a different figure altogether.
So can we do that again and see if this will happen at this time?
So that's the system we're talking about. Daniel Dazi was at the SSNIT premises there, finding out how it works. Well, we can now hear from Company Secretary at SSNIT, Gifty Annan, reading out a letter she says had been presented to SSNIT by Iyoko on the investigation into the OBS scandal.
The complaints allege that a total amount of about $70 million was paid to PBS in respect of the OBS project. The original OBS contract sum was $34.0 million, but at the time the project was completed, the contract sum had shot up to $66.8 million and 36 million Ghana cedis. This means that at the end of the OBS project, an additional amount of $32 million and 36 million Ghana cedis was paid to PBS.
Then stop.
All right. 5 suspects were arrested, and they are Ernest Thompson, former Director General of SSNIT, Mrs. Juliet Hassana-Kramer, CEO, PBS, John Hagan-Mensah, former OBS Project Manager, Caleb Kweku Afaglu, and Thomas Samson Owusu. However, 4 of them have been cautioned. These include Ernest Thompson, Mrs. Juliet Hassana-Kramer, John Hagan-Mensah, and Caleb Kweku Afaglu. After investigations, the office preferred charges of willfully causing financial loss to the state against
Thank you very
these
much.
suspects.
Yes, we can't tell you everything.
That is the Company Secretary, Gifty Annan there. Well, Attorney General Gloria Kufu spoke on Accra-based Oman FM this morning following that press conference by SSNIT yesterday. Here's what she said.
Yoko, I am pensing mo. ICT project BIA SSNIT for now more.
Iyoko has been investigating the matter and a docket has been brought to my office. We're still going through the dockets before we can prefer charges against the individuals. We're collaborating with Iyoko in investigations.
Procurement agency.
And we've met with internal auditors, the Procurement Authority, and several other bodies who can help us in the matter. In our meeting with stakeholders, we've requested for documents to help us in our probe, including the audit report by PricewaterhouseCoopers.
ontimi ensore preko pen kasa kokot nti na be hia so be hwemu ahwe sempensempense mo ayare no sombo a ode court a obetimi agina so a kwa adu a wabo no
The 4 former SSNIT officials have not been officially charged with any crimes. Iyoko has, however, made them write charge statements which will help them in their investigations. After we look at the docket, charges can then be brought against the former officials.
Director General was SSNIT. Ewo krata bi ho menya nso say na SSNIT ama PricewaterhouseCoopers ayen hwehwemu bi a yefre no audit enti ma tworo kora akoma say sa report no oma yensa enka bi enti eno kora na ye twen na eno nso ye hwehwe nsem a ewo mu eno so ye hwe a ebi a na bi wo mu a yebetumi ede aka nkrata yensa aka hono a ayahwe ne yɛ adwuma.
Gloria Kufu is Minister of Justice and Attorney General. We'll be getting some education on the processes at Iyoko from a former staff there. He's an experienced auditor and has also audited SSNIT account at one point in time. Kuju Akbabi will join us later.